I'm sure most of you guys know this feeling. You get in the door full of excitement, full of energy, ready to make the next biggest hit. And then nothing seems to click. It's called writer's block. Should you just give up and try again tomorrow, or is there something you could do to get out of the rut? My name is Matthias and I produce music under the name of Broken Elegance. Today I'm helping you guys to answer those questions. Let's go. I always love to learn new techniques to get me over any challenges I might face while producing music, making videos. If you guys are interested in content like this, please make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you get notified on new uploads. Today I'm here in FL Studio to share you guys 3 effective methods to overcome the notorious writer's block. These tips apply to every DAW, so don't be worried in case you are on different platform. First one has to do with our today's sponsor, Black Lotus Audio. They recently came up with huge MIDI pack called Inspiration, containing 500 unique MIDI files. Now, how can we use MIDI packs to get out of writer's block and also improve as producers? Here is the Inspiration MIDI collection. We dive in, we have 3 folders, ARPs, chords and leads. For our purposes we could start with the chords. I think that is the best way to start, or maybe with apps. But here you have different sounds. There is different apps, different chords and different lead melodies. But you can start with whatever you want. I'm going to go with the chords and we could try a couple of these out. I'm really liking this really simple basic F minor chord progression. We could start with this one. So here are the chords. Now we have many different routes we could take. We could start building melody, take out all the strummings and just do simple chords like this and do the strummings from the beginning. Or we could transpose this to whatever key we'd like to work in. I really like the D sharp minor, so maybe that could work. Okay, so what do we do now? I'm going to go with a melody and we are going to start building new melody from scratch on top of this. And I messed up in the end, but we could now choose all of these and quantize them. Here's everything quantized up. Simple, easy, fast. I'd encourage you guys to experiment and try to come up with your own chord progressions. This is a great way to learn what makes a good melody. Like as an example, we have here really common melody structure. We have the phrase over here, that's a call, and then we have the response. Then we have this call repeated again over here. Like you can see, the note movement is pretty similar. And over here we have a different response for that. So it's similar to this one, but the note progression at the end is a little bit different from the second one. I encourage you guys, if you want to learn to be better melody writers and songwriters, to just grab random MIDI file, drag it in your DAW and try to see what kind of patterns there are in these melodies. Here I have put together a little orchestration with the elements that we just went through. We have the chords, we have the lead melody. Also I added this up to kinda support all the other elements. So that's the first method. Thanks again to our sponsor Black Lotus Audio. You can find the pack down below. They also have a free pack on their site. Just go to the free downloads and you can try out their MIDI files and see if you like them. Now let's move to the second one. So this is what I use sometimes when I'm really struggling, and this is pretty common technique. So this is what you do. You take out a track that you enjoy, preferably not in genre that you are producing, just a track that you enjoy melodically and that has nice chord progression. Then what you do is you drag it into DAW or just listen to it outside of your DAW. Then what you do is you listen to the track or go to the internet and you figure out the chord progression. Here I have a upcoming track with Subatlas. We have also Ada on the vocals. But what you do is you find a track that you enjoy, track that has a nice atmosphere that sparks inspiration in you, and you find out what the chords are. Here I have the bass notes for this track, and what we could do now, we can create the full chords. And we are left with the chords. Now what I would suggest is to take it a little bit further away from the original, so preferably switch the key, do any modifications that you would like to do. But let's face it, these are just chords. You can spend hours coming up with chord progressions, and truth be told, every possible chord progression has been pretty much done, or at least every working chord progression. So you are just lending ideas from other tracks. It's not crime. I understand if you are strong against this, but this is for people who are really struggling to come up with chords and ideas at start. Don't do this with every track, and don't copy melodies, don't copy any instruments or stuff like that. That's why I said to pick a track that's not in your genre. So you just have the basic chord ideas. Now we could start creating our own melodies on top of this one. And like from here, we could start creating our own melody. Like on the previous example, I like to start with the root note. So we could take the F, just slap this one here. It sounds good. Now we just shorten it and we could repeat it. As we noticed, staying in the same note is really good practice on melodies. Now we could move up or down a little bit. We don't want too much movement in our melodies, or maybe you could just jump over here, but I'll tend to stick close to the root note for this one. We could move over there. Now it's going up, and this is call, as you guys remember, so we could move down for the response. Again to the root note. Sounds good. Really simple. Now we just copied this structure, but instead of moving straight upwards, we could do something like going to the original root node and then going down. So now we have different movement between these two. And now we could just copy this one over here. And then maybe for the final come up with something else, but let's listen to this one. I think it should go upwards. Here we went down, then we are going up, and that creates a nice resolution for this melody. And here we could return to the root node. Now we have what I call the main phrase, modulation or variation of that, repetition, and then destruction of the original idea. So this would sound like this. Pretty nice. And that's just easy way to start a track. It sounds totally different from the original. Our track doesn't sound anything like that. So we are all good. You don't have to feel bad for copying the chords. If you start with this one, you could always like change up the chords. You could jump, like if we delete the melody over here, we could always go upwards, and that would sound like this. This needs to be over here. Then it would sound like this. And maybe we could actually move this one up also. So now we have totally new chord progression, and it sounds like this. Now let's move to the third one. I do this probably most often, and that is if anything is not clicking composing wise, I do a sound design session. So I open up Serum, start fiddling around with presets, try to create a sound that sounds cool or interesting, like maybe some kind of block, and that way I take the pressure off from creating something new and just focus on finding interesting sounds and figuring out like the soundscape of the track. Instead of writing the melodies and the chords, I focus on the sonicascape of the track. What kind of sound do I want? What kind of world of audio I would like to create around the track. So maybe I could create some kind of, this is just really simple park. And if I'm really feeling like some kind of dark, mysterious vibe, I could throw in like Valhalla shimmer, do couple tweakings, really long delay, and now we have this. That's really interesting sound. We could modify it further. Do some, just try out different things. Then maybe try out different legato. Throw in delays. Maybe some odd time signatures. Then we could start laying it down. Just do simple maybe do something like this. Maybe speed it up. Throw it down. And just like that, we have idea going on. So just creating interesting sounds can open up your creative valves and to enable you to come up with something. And sometimes even that doesn't help. But if you have a good sound design session, you end up with a bunch of great presets to use later. Like over here, I have a ton of bass samples that I have created. These are good ones. I also have another folder that's full of bad ones, but like I have all these crazy monster sounds prepared for the next session. So this time track just didn't click, but at least I have a bank of sounds to use at the next time. But don't be too harsh for yourself. I know you guys want to improve, want to create new tracks, and we all have some sort of real life things to do, and we can't be always producing. We have only a couple hours, maybe half an hour a day to produce, and we put so much expectations for that time and for success that it's really hard to just give yourself a room to fail and to try again and to explore the different sounds and to allow room for your creativity. If something doesn't click, if you can't even come up with crazy vomit sounds that day, it's totally okay. Go do something else and come back tomorrow. It's totally okay. Again, at the end, I want to thank our sponsors, Black Lotus Audio. Check out their website down below. Check out the inspiration pack. There is a lot of great MIDI files that can really spark your creativity that you can also use as educational tool to learn what makes a great sound, to learn how to create interesting melodies and combinations of sounds and chords. But with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope to do more of these. Let me know what are your favorite tips to overcome the writer's block. These were some of mine preferred methods, but there's as many ways to approach this problem as there is producers, so share your tips down below. It helps everyone. And anyways, that's it for today. I hope you guys learned something. Please leave a like, maybe share with a friend, and I see you guys on the next one.